And welcome. Good evening to all of you. Nice having you again on Mike at Night. This is a Thursday, and once it's a Thursday, you're supposed to see us. I know that we would have had everyone from last week. Some of you may have seen it, some of you may not. I've been out of the country, busy, but I'm happy to be back here with you and to spend this time with you. We are on Thursdays at 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, and this is AST time. My name is Michael Stewart, and this is Mike at Night. What we talk here is relationship issues. We try to help people in their relationships because we feel that a lot of the dysfunction in society comes from broken relationships, broken homes, broken families. If we're going to do something about it, we've got to work on that. So we are going to have our discussion tonight. We're going to talk about emotional connection, the emotional unavailability. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation like that, but I hope that you could be able to gain something from it this evening. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we get the ball rolling on Mike at Night. Don't go far. We'll be right back. Hey, if you are having difficulty in your marriage or in your relationship and you need someone to speak with privately and confidentially, then call me, Michael Stewart. We can do face to face or virtually any part of the world. If your relationship is worth saving, call 868 688 5363 or go to my website www.michaeletstewart.com. Don't wait until it's too late. Get counseling. Welcome back. Welcome back. Let me say hello to a number of people on the Facebook Live. Joy, good evening to you. Joy, I know you usually have a problem. This is late for you. You're like foul, yard foul. You go to bed early, but I see that you stayed up tonight. So you're not going to watch the rerun. You're going to be with us this evening. That is good. I see Carol. Hey, Carol. Bermuda. All the way from Bermuda. Lovely place, lovely people, niceness in the house. So, Carol, I think you're going to be in Grenada with us as of next week or this week. Yeah, I hope so. My sister-in-law, dear sweet sister-in-law, married to my younger brother Carlton. Kim Jackson Stewart, good evening. Cheryl Harlequin, hey Cheryl, nice seeing you. I was with Cheryl a couple of days ago in Guyana. Yes. Nicely, Cheryl. Nice having you. Joan Bob Ward, good evening to you. Nice having you on board. Joan Bob is the one who's the host of that program that people keep messaging me to ask me for the link for. That is Hope and Action, or is it Hope in Action? Hope and Action. Yep, and they do some wonderful programs. They have some people. I don't know how they get them brave enough to come out and talk about the issues of abuse and some of the problems that they've gone in. But it has helped so many people. So thank you very much, Joan, for what you're doing. Candice Alexander, good evening. One of our regulars, my dear sister Deanne, on Chanel Robling, Edward Jones, good evening. Ted, missing in action, but say what? Oh yes, Carol, you are going into Grenada on Saturday. Right, Carol, I'll be going in tomorrow. So I'll catch you there when you arrive. Yeah, make sure you hit me up when you get there. All right, so we're talking about this emotional unavailability. You've heard people say that I love the person, but I'm not in love with the person. What do they mean? What is it that they're talking about? Well, from all intents and purposes, it seems as though when people say that, they are trying to say that, I'm in the relationship with this person and I love the person, but I don't feel connected to them. I don't feel emotionally connected to them. The question is, who is emotionally disconnected? Is it the person you are in the relationship with, or is it that you are emotionally disconnected? So I want us to talk about it, but I want you to also utilize the telephone because the last time we were on, we were happy to have those who were brave enough to call in. Let me just tell you the number one time, 868-688-5363. You could call WhatsApp. It is free. It is flee. Yes. 868-688-5363. If you have any question or comment, or you want to share your own experience, please just call us. I like to connect with people by the call, so I'm looking forward to that. All right. So we're talking about when we are emotionally disconnected. So and emotionally unavailable. So I don't know whether to start with whether the other person is emotionally unavailable, or whether we should start with when we are emotionally unavailable. All right. So let's start with us probably. Um. All right. So when somebody is emotionally unavailable, here's what happening from for our understanding is that they tend not to be able to connect with us. You don't connect with them, they don't connect with us. You're in a relationship, they're doing things that are routine, but you don't feel entwined in heart and in objective. This person is the person who tends to keep their emotional things, their thoughts, their feelings to themselves. They tend not to want to share it. It is a very difficult circumstance to be in, especially if one of them wants that emotional connection, and in the relationship they desire it in order to feel as though they're in a relationship. So that's one. The person doesn't share. You're trying to find out how they feel on things, and they will tell you, put you off with some statements that that not really true, but it is those medium statements. No, it's all right. I'm good. I'm good. No, I'm not thinking of anything. But it doesn't matter to me. Why you want to know that? You see, they don't want to talk about how they feel deep down inside. They're not giving it away. Are you vexed? They're not going to see whether they're vexed or not. I just did. Do you want to go here? Neither here nor there with me. What do you want to eat? You decide. It's difficult, roughly. So if you have ever been in that situation, just hit me up. Let me know whether you have ever been in a situation where you feel as though you're digging for oil and there's no oil. You're not striking oil at all in the relationship, in the person. Yeah, yeah. Um, yes. Good evening, Joan. Rock and come in. Rock and come in, Joan. Nicely, Wendy and John Norton also. So that's one of the things about the emotional disconnect, the emotional unavailability. The other aspect of the emotional unavailability is that the person um they don't like to make plans with you. You ask them about going somewhere, and they are going to tell you, yeah, we could go. And then when you ask or try to tie it down to a time and day and so on, I'll call you. I will message you. They're not locking down plans at all. And this happens repeatedly. Not every time that the person is doing it that you're going to find it. So you will tell me whether you're understanding what we're talking about, and if you've been in a relationship like that. Or sometimes you yourself may be that type of person who not committing to a particular aspect of it. Um, you're in a you are also in a relationship that is with somebody who's unavailable emotionally. If, for example, you find yourself you are the one doing all the work in the relationship to keep the relationship going. You are the one that have to call them. You are the one that have to message them, email them, WhatsApp them. If you don't do that, they never do it. And then they'll always say, well, I was busy, I couldn't do it, I was going to. But it just continues. You are the ones that have to make all the birthday plans. You have to make all the anniversary arrangements. You have to do everything, come up with the ideas of what to do in the relationship. They are doing absolutely nothing. Do you all feel me up in here, people? Are you all feeling me? Yeah? Are you in a relationship that you feel emotionally that the person you are with, that they are emotionally unavailable? Come inside, Glenn. Come inside, people. And share the life, my dear people. Share the life. So, because let me tell you, so many people going through this, so many people experiencing it. Some of them can't tell what they're going through, but they just know this is not right. This is not what a relationship is supposed to be. And some have had better relationships and know that this is not what it's supposed to be, but somehow or the other, I land up with this one. And this one is not giving me what I'm looking for. But you might also find that you think the other person is emotionally unavailable. But could it be you? Could it be that you are unavailable? All right? So you're talking. If you want to share and you want us to discuss, I would love to hear from you. Call me on that number that's on your screen, 868-688-5363. We're going to take your call and we're going to patch you through for us to be able to have it, right? So I want all my people out there, just call and let's hear about it. So you're doing all the relationship work. In a discussion, you have to start the discussion because they'll just sit there playing on their phone, or they'll just sit there watching television, or they'll just be hanging around. You have to start a conversation. And it's as though you are pulling teeth, you are dragging the relationship, and sooner or later, don't you give up planning those birthday parties? Don't you give up planning those anniversary events? Don't you give up planning to go out and spend an evening? Because you just tell yourself, but the person is not interested at all in it. And then even if you're planning it to get them to commit to a date, they say, I will tell you, I'll need to check my schedule. And they never get back to you. Chris Lindsay, good evening, my boy. Come right in. A person is also emotionally unavailable if they're not committing to the status of the relationship. What am I talking about? You know those people who are in these relationships that you ask them, are you in a relationship? And they said, they can't give you an answer. And then you say, what kind of relationship are you in? And they said, confused, a confused relationship. Or some of them will say, complex relationship. Those are the relationships that you don't even know if you're going or coming. You don't know if you're rising or falling. You don't know if you're fish or fowl. What is the state of the relationship? Ted Jones says like driving a car with the handbrakes up. Or revving the engine of a boat that is tied to the docks. You're doing a lot of activities, but it's going nowhere. Good evening, Colin Atkins. Yeah, situationship, says Joan. Bernadette Adams experience that right now. It's like pulling teeth. Bernadette, you're exposing yourself and you're exposing people. I don't want nobody call me, Bernie. Right, you're spinning top in mud. Yes, it is frustrating. I know it is frustrating. But the thing is, if the person is emotionally unavailable, they're emotionally unavailable. So they're not going to introduce you as my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my husband, my wife. This is a friend of mine. This is my partner. Yeah, that's how they introduce you. They don't want to close the doors and introduce you because there is no definite context of the relationship. Ria, what did you miss? Ria, man, you're missing everything. Yeah. Charmaine says it is neither here nor there. They call me now. Call me now, Colin. 688-5363. What you, yeah, Gail, Ben, good evening. Nicely. Right. So inside of this relationship, the person doesn't define the friendship. It's as though they're afraid to define the friendship. They call you as friend and so on. Sometimes you go in a group, you're going a crowd, you're going an event and so on, and they don't even introduce you. They are hailing out their friends and so on, and they go their way. And you are next to them, whether you are the man or you are the woman. Meet my friend, says Gail Ben. That's right. But you should not tolerate that. Do not allow it. Unless, of course, you're really not in the relationship. If you're not in the relationship, then fine. But you cannot say that you are in a relationship with a person and are not being introduced in the relationship to others, and you are not being introduced in the way you perceive you hold that position in the relationship. Do not settle for that. Right. Okay. We talking about emotionally unavailable people who love but not in love. Be in a relationship with somebody that you can't connect with them. They're distant, withdrawn. It's your husband or it's your wife. Love them, but some or the other, you just can't reach their soft part. That's what we're talking about, my dear Ria. Yeah, good to see you. Edward said those relationships are waste of time. Ones get out fast. But sometimes you can't get out. What if you're married to the person, Ted? Um, that's a difficult one to get out of. Good evening, Heather. Nice. Wendy George, classified as a friend with benefits. Well, that's a whole topic by itself, baby. Um, friend with benefits. Well, friend. Okay, people. I tell you, we were off there a little while. Yes, yes, yes. I hope that you all did not lose too much of what I said. Internet throughout the Caribbean seems to be unstable these days, and I wonder. We move from any better. Diane Alfonso, good evening. Beatrice and Indaude Paris. Jonelle, good evening to you. Nice having you. Lovely people. Guyana. Nice. Guyana's in the house. Yes, on Baba Bed. Share the live, people. Share the live. Do have you ever been in a relationship where you are emotionally, you can't reach the person that you're in a relationship with? Describe what that means to you and tell me what it feels like. You are just a bedroom partner if it's good at all. I've met people who tell me point blank. They have a friend. They are not a sleep around person, but they have friends that they call. They might have 3 or 4 of these friends who they've all agreed. Anytime we want to feel satisfied, we just call. We know that there's nothing in it. We know that there's no emotion in it. It is just a job that you're not being paid for. But because you're a close friend, you know that I feel a certain way and you are going to come to my rescue and provide that. But you also know that I could also ask you from any one of my other friends. So therefore, don't make demands upon me. I don't know how that works. You need to tell me if that kind of emotional unavailability, if after that person has passed through 4 or 5 of people with the relationship with that, if they can actually get into another relationship when they really settle down, with somebody and connect emotionally when they have really lived their life most of the time unavailable in their emotion because they have agreed we are not going to become emotionally engaged, right? So I want you to answer me, people, or call and tell me, would you settle for a relationship? You don't have a boyfriend, you don't have a girlfriend, but you have needs. You know what I mean? You've got needs. And so now that you've got needs, will you settle for a relationship where there's no emotion, but just a business transaction with no money to satisfy those needs? Let me know. Joan said the person cannot be trusted. All right. Call me now. 868-688-5363. Let me know if you are going to be okay with that, and if not, why not? Joan says not her. But Joan, this is the modern thing. Are you archaic and still left in times, back in times? This is the in thing. I was surprised when I heard people tell me this thing, but hey, every cheese have its mold. Oh no, every bread have its cheese. That is it. All right. All right. Let me tell you. Hey, this thing nice. This thing nice. All right. So we're talking about the emotional disconnect. What is the quality of the relationship? So we're talking about how do you know that you are in a relationship where the person is emotionally unavailable when you're not getting closer together. As relationship grow over the years, the relationship gets closer and closer. Supposed to. It may change in that it is not the hot flashes that we had when we just met each other, but there is a closeness, there's an understanding, there's an appreciation of each other that takes place over time. The question is, if therefore you are saying to me that you are in a relationship for a number of years, for a period of time, and you are not getting closer, then obviously one thing is taking place. You are drifting apart. Life does not march on one spot. So if you're getting worse, if you are not going closer, you are going apart. Just because you don't know that you're going apart does not mean that you're not going apart. Let me hear what my boy has to say here now. Good evening.
Good night, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Good night, good night, good night.
Talk to me, my boy.
You know what I'm studying?
Would you settle, before you go on there, would you settle for a relationship where you're just going to refuel? You didn't hear me? You just go in and put the gas pump inside and full up and take the gas pump out and you drive off. Would you do that?
Well, no, because 10 to 1, if I put an in, then I'm the one supplying the gas.
Yeah.
Right, nah. Maybe in my old days, but not anymore.
You mean in your younger days?
In my younger days, yes, that's right.
Yeah, but you're not doing that again. All right, yes. Go ahead with what you were saying now.
Yeah, so I'm thinking this, what we call emotional
unavailability
can be from, well, I say like two sources, right? Think about it this way. You could be, in fact, with a partner that naturally does not feel the way you feel about them, right? And that can be a problem, right? For you, of course, not for the partner, because the partner has nothing to lose in that environment. But then there's the other context, which is the person feels love for you, but the communication of the love is a totally different alien language that you cannot pick up as a love language.
Well, there are 5. You're saying that you can't even pick up not one of the 5?
No, because maybe the way you are wired, you don't have communications for say 2 out of the 5. You don't have receptors for them, and the person has no transmitters except for the 2 that you have no receptors for.
What brought us together?
It could be maybe me and you.
Let me tell you, my boy, I ain't in that, you know. Don't try that on this public place. I is not in that.
No, when I'm talking about from a professional radio perspective, but no, but here's what. Okay. So it could be that here's what. Sometimes people are brought together because of circumstances that are beyond just natural attractiveness. Like, for example, people could be thrust together due to peers, or sometimes people could be thrust together due to their own lack of self. You know, normally what happens is when people are not at their best, they settle, right? Because they don't believe they deserve the best. So whatever they feel they get, they must try to work with. Right? And as a result of that, you kind of say, this is the best I can get. Now, the truth is, if you felt better about yourself, you may have been able to attract better for yourself. But the fact that you don't feel as good for yourself, this person is in your space, you get a little current or half a current, but it's better than the no current you have been getting in the past, right? And you go with it. But then even over the period of time where you feel the relationship should have gone to position 2, level 2, you start off at level 1. And where you think the relationship should have gone to level 2 or at level 3, it is still at level 1. In other words, you're not getting, as the youth say, the current.
Right? Somebody said that sometimes we get into a relationship because of what we have in common. And what we have in common sometimes is that we identify with each other's brokenness.
Right, okay.
And not that we have identified how the other person is going to bring value to us. But it's our brokenness that we identify with.
Right. So it's almost a kinship of brokenness. It's almost like 2 people from a hospital decide that we're going to create a relationship because we're in the hospital together. Sick.
Right. And then one feel better and get discharged. And then they realize, well, I don't need you again because you were there for that period of time that I was suffering, and you gave me consolation in my suffering.
Yes, exactly. Right. So I'm thinking that those 2 are the two things that I'm thinking are crucial. One could be that the person just does not value you at all. Right? They don't reciprocate the feelings you have. However, they may be settling for you for some personal reason or whatever, but they cannot come to really surrendering to your love, surrendering to your overtures, being a part of you, right? It could be pride too, it could be all of those things. And then the next one is that they are communicating, but the languages, the receptors and the transmitters are so skewed that you don't pick up the signals.
Yeah.
You know?
I guess I know those radio stations. I have a few of them on my vehicle. Thank you very much. All right, nicely. Call me now, 688-5363. If you're calling from outside Trinidad and Tobago, dial the area code 868-688-5363. I want to hear from you. Okay. Will you get into a relationship with somebody who you consider a close friend, and all that you get from the relationship is nungsin? When you feel for it, you call for the person and they come and they understand this is not a relationship that is going to be emotional. This is just a transactional relationship, but you are could be free to be in a next relationship. Some people call it friends with benefit. I think some people have now said that they don't like that, so they're giving it a new name, thinking that if they give it a new name, it changes what it is. It doesn't. But there are people with that and say that they don't sleep around, so they have about 4 or 5 people only. It's not that everybody that come up, they're going to do that. 4 or 5 close friends, they tell me. Close friends that I could trust, and we could trust each other. So that whenever I feel a certain way and my moon is up, that they could just come across, or I could go across with them, and we don't have any problems, because they could go out with somebody else, and I could go out with some, and it isn't a problem. Would you settle for that? Talk to me, people. Joan already gives her position. Absolutely not. All right. But you tell me. Give me a call. I want to hear from you. 868-688-5363. Stephen Clark. 4 or 5. Yes, Stephen, that's what they say. What, you will only take 3? Only if it's 3 friends. Anne Marie, no, are better than that. Well, you see, when you have to settle for people like that, oh my goodness, that person who was calling, please call me back. Sorry, it was down. Please call me back. Gail Ben said, certainly not. She's not gonna do it. Out of the question. Okay. All right. So there are people who out there will do that, and those who have told me this are in the very young generation. The very young generation. Hello? Hello? Yes, you need to, yes, I think you're getting the delay. Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, tell me what to do.
Right, because you have to take off your radio, or turn it down, because you have to listen to me on the telephone, because there's a delay. Once you are on the telephone, there's a delay based upon what is actually happening live. Right, so just listen to the telephone only.
Okay, good.
Nice. Share with me.
I'm not going to settle for something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody who wishes to settle for something like that, that person really doesn't understand what God said.
Mm-hmm.
You see, we have all these things coming up now because we want to just do our own thing. God said male and female, we say all kind of other stories all down the alphabetic way.
Mm-hmm.
God said male and female. He talks about marriage and fornication and adultery and all of that. But we want to do our own thing. So this is why somebody would have 4 or 5 persons who they could call. That is not biblical. That is man making their own rules and trying to operate according to their feelings. And this will not work. We just drifting further and further away. This is why we have now the names like situationship and friends with benefit and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Those are not biblical. It's going against what God intended for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's going against that. And you see this thing about being emotionally unavailable, it is really deceit. It is deceit. You're deceiving your partner and you're using people. You can't just have people around there for when you feel like. No, that is wrong. And that shows that this person really is selfish, have no love for anybody, and just wants to be satisfied when they want to be satisfied. They have no consideration for the other person. Emotional unavailability is not something positive. It is a situation that people should really get out of. Now, if you're married and it happened, I don't know what you're supposed to do. Maybe counseling, go to Mike, sit down and let him talk to you. Otherwise, get out of that kind of relationship. It's not going to lead anywhere.
Yes. Let me tell you this before. Oh, you gone? Hey, all right. So I wanted to tell that caller. Barbara Baird says no way. I wanted to tell that caller before the caller hung up that many of these same people who says they see nothing wrong in giving a tush to 4 or 5 people, they themselves, when you ask them, you have a car? Yes. You love your car? Yes, I spend good money for it. Would you allow people to be coming and just borrowing your car? Your car that you spend so much money for, especially if it's a new brand car, and you just lend them because what? It's people you know, and you lend them, and you know what most of those people say? No, they don't lend their car. Why? The value they place on the car. But you'll tell me, you'll give people 4 or 5 people a tush on your tush. Make no sense. But then again, we live in a world that is lacking in sense. So thank you very much, Cole. I appreciate that. And it seems as though other people support you with that. Hope and Action Network members represented tonight. Hey, yep. Good evening to the people of Hope and Action. Nice having you all on board. Yes. All right. So let's see. Could it be that you are the one who is the person who is emotionally unavailable? When we come back from this break, we're going to examine, and I want you to look inside. I want you to do introspection. Yep. Share the live and invite others to come on board for this one here, because this one is going to be interesting when we start to examine ourselves. If you're looking for private counseling, you could call us. Same telephone number, 868-688-5363. Listen to the ad. Call me. Hey, if you are having difficulty in your marriage or in your relationship and you need someone to speak with privately and confidentially, then call me, Michael Stewart. We can do face to face or virtually any part of the world. If your relationship is worth saving, call 868 688 5363 or go to my website www.michaeletstewart.com. Don't wait until it's too late. Get counseling. All right, let's talk about the people who are emotionally unavailable, and we want you to check yourself. And this mainly goes to the people who are not in marital relationships, mainly. But you know, a number of people we have on tonight are single. And when you look at it, according to this American Bureau of Census in 2022, more than 53% of adults in the United States single. That is more than half the population, and that year the population was 334 million people, giving us 174 people, roughly 174 million people who are not in marital relationships. Single. Lawrence, we have to start charging you for late arrival, you know. You can't just be coming in here and disturbing thing, you know, Lawrence. All right. Joan Benjamin, no way, that's not right. Okay. So, what about if you are the person who is emotionally unavailable? How do you know? Number one. So, if you are in a relationship that um that when commitment time comes, that you back out. These are the people who you're in the friendship, you're in the relationship, 2, 3 years, 4 years. The person start to talk, well, you don't think we should get married? And they keep backing out. They don't want to commit into a relationship. Don't let me rush this now. Let me take my time. 5 years pass, 7 years pass. You're still finding a reason. Well, you know, I have to settle down financially first in order for us to get married, to afford the wedding and so on. And I usually tell people, according to law, at least the laws in Trinidad and Tobago, you really only need 5 people in a wedding to make it legal. A bride, a groom, 2 witnesses, and a licensed marriage officer. The rest of people is hungry gut people that we plan to feed. They are unnecessary in a marriage, but nice to have. You cannot depend upon 300 people when your marriage goes into crisis to come and rescue you. I kid you not, you will not be able to depend upon 300 people. Why is the biggest fighter with that and not get into a committed relationship? Because we cannot feed them. Makes no sense. You see? So stop that thing, because I keep hearing this. We don't have the money to get married. We don't have that. But you're doing everything. Anyway, you're getting sex, you're getting food, you're doing household chores for each other and so on. But when it comes to settling down at commitment, you're not doing it. And something that I keep saying, you like when you buy a car, because of the amount of money you invested in the car, you like to see your name on the certified copy. You must read that certified copy and see your name there. When you buy a house or you buy a land, you like to see on the deed, you like to see your name there because of the investment you put out on it. Nobody puts out an investment that they don't want a paper in their hand with their name. Why would we want to get into a relationship for years and not want eventually to see a paper with your name on it? You see that we have a world that is full of self-esteem issues. That is why probably one of the reasons why we have so many people single. They don't even understand themselves. Yeah. So when it comes to commitment, they back out. Secondly, find out when when the person keep leaving the options open. I don't want to settle down, because I don't know whether this will work. Do you say that about you're you're enrolled in a school, a university? I don't want to sit the exam, because I don't know if I will fail it. Do you talk that piece of trash? No. You go to the exam and you put your best foot forward, you may fail it. And you know that that is par for the course. You may fail it. But you're telling yourself, I am going to give it my best shot so that I could pass. So why is it when we're talking about this relationship, I want to keep my options open because I don't want to get married? And then I hear people saying marriage does mash up relationship. People that going along nice all the time, and as soon as they get married, they break up. I tell you, there is no evidence that I see that marriage breaks up anybody. Marriage cannot break up somebody who's already broken at all. So don't come with that. Marriage is not broken, people are. So this thing about keeping your options open. You want to play the field as long as you can. Yes, Joan, it's a poor excuse. Selfishness. Here's what some people say. Emotionally, they are unavailable when they don't want to lose themselves in the relationship. They don't want to lose themselves in the relationship. You don't want to lose yourself in the relationship? What do you really mean by that? I'm not too sure. So if you how would you lose yourself in a relationship that you voluntarily walked into? Because in order for it to be a relationship, you've got to connect and be so wrapped up in a relationship that the relationship becomes part of you. Who wants to enter into a business relationship with somebody and the person does not want to invest themselves in the business? No. You'll want the person to be able to give enough of themselves that they are actually feeling as though they are co-authors in this business. And the same thing with the relationship. So you will have to lose some of yourself. Some people want to be in the relationship and still behave as though they're not and single. Then if that is you, then you are emotionally unavailable. All right. Let's tell you something else about somebody who is emotionally unavailable. If you feel that trust is an issue and you cannot trust easily, there's no way you're going to give your heart in any space where trust is at risk. If you feel that this area, this relationship, you cannot trust the person, why is it you're in it? Then you are emotionally unavailable because you would not be able to give your all in this thing. And part of the glue The cement, the foundation, the strappings for any relationship is trust. Once trust is broken, the relationship is free falling. You heard me right. It is in free fall because anything the person does, you become suspicious. They'll come home late. I wonder why they come home late. Their cell phone ring and they switch it off without answering. You'll wonder why didn't the person take the call? They take the call, but they walk away from you. Why didn't they take the call in front of me? Yes. You'll always be hyper vigilant. You'll always be searching and quizzical, wondering what is taking place. That is what happens when trust is broken. Somebody hug your partner, you'll want to know why they're hugging them. Somebody walk away from you, you want to know why they're walking away from you. That's always going to be. All right. So trust doesn't come easily means that you are emotionally unavailable if you can't trust the people. You can't monitor somebody all their life. If you is to be horned, you is to be horned. You will get it. So a friend of mine said, when it comes to horn, it's not if, it is when. I don't know if I agree with him with that, but that's what he said. It's not if, but it is when. But you cannot guarantee that it will never happen to you. I've heard people say, me and my husband or my wife, we're so connected, that will never happen to us and so on. Well, if that makes you sleep at night, go right ahead. Good evening, Kathleen. Rock and come in, people. Jack Dale Lutchman. Nice having you, Merlin Blair. Some people I'm seeing on tonight for the first time. Nice. Thank you very much. Heather say you're an asset. That way that they accept the behavior. You're an asset. That's the way they accept the behavior. All right. Call me, people, if you have something you want to share. I'll take your call. 868-688-5363. Call me now. If you are out of the country, put in the code 868-688-5363. I want to hear from you. Call me now. Right. Okay. So we're talking about emotionally unavailable. People who are emotionally unavailable, and we're asking you to check to see if you are one of those. Trust doesn't come easy. What about the last one that we dealt with? You are also emotionally unavailable. They said if you keep ending up with people who's also emotionally unavailable, because you are not making yourself vulnerable, and that word vulnerable is a scary word for many people. They don't like to be vulnerable. They don't like to expose their soft part. They don't like to be in a position where they can be hurt. Hurt is part of the love affair. Anybody you love will hurt you at least once. Put that in your pipe and soak it. Or smoke it. Edwards, I walk away from love once more. Boy, it's almost every day we have to be walking away from love. In school days, remember Ted in school days? Puppy love, infatuation. Today you like a girl in school, your heart skipping a beat every time she shows up. And next 2 weeks, your heart not carrying on like that again. You see a next girl that your heart start to beat fast for. Louis Tobias, welcome nicely. Shabana Munsel, good evening. All right. So if you keep ending up in a relationship where the person is emotionally distant, then you really want more from a relationship, but you're not getting it. Then you're probably attracting the same people into your life. Right? So where it comes from, the or attachment in early days as we're growing up, we have different attachment styles. We're not going to go into it now, but many of the attachment styles that we have cause us to be if we grow up in a situation where, let's take for example, if somebody has been hurt repeatedly in past relationships, they may not have started off being emotionally unavailable, but the pain, the hurt, the disappointment, the misplaced trust that they experience over a number of years make them hard, callous, closed, that they're not risking loving anybody so deep again. Ever hear the phrase, circumstances make me who I am? Some people actually live that out. But they're not happy, but they don't feel open to change that. Because the people who they keep attracted, and sometimes they actually tell the person, this person did me this last time, it hurt me, and so on, and you think that this person would not do it, and the person goes straight ahead and do it. Yeah. But if you really want your relationships to work, because that what you're talking about is not the end all and beat all of relationships. I want people to know you don't have to settle for those type of relationships. Relationships can be fulfilling, relationships can be exhilarating, relationships can be growing and abounding, but you've got to change the way how you approach relationships. And you cannot brand one relationship the same as the other. Sometimes we come from our brokenness and we come into a new relationship and we behave in this relationship as though the person did us what the last person did, and they never did. So many things that take place. So I want to just encourage people, as and has been said, get counseling. And that's what we do. We give private, confidential counseling. Even if you are out of this island, we do also online. We do counseling with persons on Zoom and on WhatsApp, etc. We'd love to have you. Okay? So make sure that you avail yourselves of help. Don't let things go this way. All right, as we come down to the last 7 more minutes, I want to hear from somebody else on the telephone, or yeah, I want somebody to call and share with me with your own thoughts and your own ideas, or if you have a question, 868 688 5363. You could call on WhatsApp. It is free, flee. Yeah. And we be willing to chat with you for the next few minutes as we wrap up. I didn't want to go into anything new because we would not have time to go anything with more depth. All right. How are you feeling, people? How are you feeling? Always, let me tell you, if you're in a relationship that is prospering and is where the person is depositing into you and you depositing into them, then you trust me, you have a nice thing going. It is when the person is withdrawing from you while you are depositing, they get double jeopardy. They double dip, I should more say. They are getting from you and they are also withdrawing from you because you are giving voluntarily. Let's say relationships are work in progress. Yep, it is. But it's nice because anything that is worth having is worth really making the sacrifice for. Jim once said, if the price is right, the sacrifice is worth it. If the price is right, the sacrifice is worth it. If you give somebody a big prize, whether it is they are going to get a new brand car worth $2 million, and you tell them, if you run this marathon and you finish it, I'll give you it. Now, you might not be a marathon runner, but you may not mind running in the marathon. It never said that you'll have to come first, but you will be willing to do it because the prize is right. And for some people, even if you tell them they need to come first, they're going to attempt it because the prize is right. And so the sacrifice of your relationship is dependent upon your ability to appreciate the prize. And the prize is the other person that you're going to get. The prize is going to be the emotional connection that you get in this relationship. Do not underestimate it or talk yourself out because you see other people's relationships failing. Here's what some people say. I see so many marriages fail that I don't want to ever get married. And I keep hearing so many young people saying that. I saw what my father did to my mother. I saw what my father went through with this woman. And so, therefore, I don't want to get married. Go Paul Luck is not see Paul Luck. Just because it happened to them does not mean that it has to happen to you. Do not let the outcome of people derail you from your own happiness. While you are young, you might make that decision, but when you hit 40, 50, 60 years old, would you be okay living by yourself? I see so many people who are so sad because they feel lonely and by themselves. They started off saying, I don't want no relationship, but you need that. You need that. We are human beings and we need to emotionally connect with people. All right? So, and that brings us down to the end of the program for today, my people. I hope that this helped you all. My name is Michael Stewart. Behind the console is the man that you're not seeing, but is the one that gives the greater impact in having this Zoom here with us. His name is Sidney Jones. We appreciate him so very much with his competencies, and we look forward to having you on our program again. It is on Thursdays from 8 o'clock. It is Mike at Night. Heather says, keep deep conversation for married and unmarried. We must have a part 2, 3, and 4. Well, I leave tomorrow for the annual Caribbean lectureship, which is with the Churches of Christ in Grenada. I look forward to the Grenadian people. I'll be teaching some classes there. We're going to be talking some more on relationship. We'll talk about parenting, and we're going to talk about so many things in Grenada. I am looking forward to it. The people in Guyana, I'm just back from Guyana, I think it was yesterday. Imagine that, back from Guyana yesterday and in Grenada tomorrow. But people in Guyana, I love you all. Yeah, you all treat me so nice. It was so hospitable. Sandra Lamb and Harlequin and all of those people that I had the pleasure of meeting. I really appreciate you all. And I want to wish you Godspeed. I hope to be back in Guyana very soon. You all take care now. Oh yes, Shabana, you are from Guyana. Okay, wonderful. I wonder if I met you but didn't know that's your name. I'll check it out after. All right. Oh, Glenda, you coming in tomorrow? Nicely. I enjoyed the program. Looking forward to the next one. Thank you very much, Gail, Ben. Appreciate it. Charmin, Charmin, I'll see you in Grenada. Wonderful. Okay. Thank you all very much. I'm Michael Stewart, and this is Mike at Night. We'll see you around. Ciao. Hey, if you are having difficulty in your marriage or in your relationship and you need someone to speak with privately and confidentially, then call me, Michael Stewart. We can do face-to-face or virtually any part of the world. If your relationship is worth saving, call 868-688-5363 or go to my website www.michaelatstewart.com. Don't wait until it's too late. Get counseling.